All right.
All right. All right. Video is live, Doc. Stand by for audio. All right. Good day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Live the Fuel show. So this evening, we've been getting on a lot of doctors lately, and I've got another one for you. This gentleman, I did not have to track down. We actually had somebody kind enough who is in the service, apparently, of really helping podcasters get connected with wonderful co-hosts that we're about to bring to you. He got us all connected. But this gentleman, his brand in the natural health space is known as Carson Natural. And you guys can find out more about that at carsonnatural.com. But this gentleman does coaching. He does educational training. He's involved with a physical, actual entity that we could talk more about today, too. He's got a podcast show. This guy is passionate about health, and we just got done talking about adrenal fatigue as well, so we're going to dive into that today as well. So without further ado, welcome Dr. Phil Carson to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Scott. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on your show today.
Well, thank you, sir. And you've got me beat on the podcasting by a few months. You fired up a little bit before I did. So congrats on your show coming up on, 2 years, later this year? Well, or early next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, early next year. I'm a year and a half in right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to say, you're at episode, is 76 your most recent?
I've recorded 77 today.
All right. So you must do you're doing a weekly, one show a week?
One show a week, yeah.
Okay. I can say, because I'm actually past that, but the only way I'm doing that is because I'm cheating and I'm doing 2 a week.
Yeah.
But
I've thought about that a time or two, but I'm so busy. I'm doing good to keep the one going.
You're doing a little bit more than I am on the healthy space. So and let's dive into that, because one of the taglines that I love on your site is the holistic health architect, and there's a lot of power behind that, because I love that word architect. I studied engineering back in college before I switched majors, and engineers and architects, man, they're that power behind design and creation. So I love the terminology you decided to put together there. Let's give us a little background into that, man. Tell me where that came from, because I'm a marketing guy. I'm all about branding.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, when I was in high school, I was trying to decide on a career path and what I should do. And I originally wanted to be an architect. And I talked to a guidance counselor at school, and he said, "Man, you're so good in math and science and chemistry." He said, "You ought to consider pharmacy." So I took a close look at pharmacy. I said the pay was tremendous coming right out of pharmacy school. I said, I've got these skills. I know these things. I think I'll give it a try. So that's the direction I went in.
I've had a few friends of mine that are in pharmacy, and you're right. The starting salary nowadays, we went to Penn State together in the late 90s, and I know my one friend's wife did very well coming out of school.
Yeah, it's good starting pay. But that's kind of how I came up with the idea of being a holistic health architect, because I've been working with people in the area of holistic health quite a few years now. As a pharmacist, right out of pharmacy school, I got put into a very stressful situation.
And that was in 85, right?
That was in 85. I went to work for a big chain company. 1 year in, the manager of that store left, and they made me manager. So I thought pharmacy school was stressful until I got made manager of the store. Found out what stress was all about. And it was killing me, literally killing me. And I was taking all kind of medication, drinking a couple of bottles of antacid every day, trying to relieve the gastric distress that I was suffering from. And I said, something's got to change. I couldn't see myself getting out of the stressful situation at that point. Thankfully, a little bit later, I was able to do that. But I started searching for answers, because the medications were not doing it. They were not cutting it, just giving me some temporary relief, and that was it.
Well, real quick, I'm going to pause on that. Am I incorrect in using this terminology, which I have used in past shows, but I'm not being the doctor. I'm just I don't know. I call it I'm the inner physician. I'm working on myself and trying to help others. But the term I love to use is pharmaceuticals, they're just a Band-Aid. You're not actually treating the root cause. Am I right on that?
Oh man, you're talking my language, Scott.
All right. I love it.
I use those terms quite often in describing medication as being a Band-Aid. And part of what I do now as a holistic health architect with Carson Natural, as a practitioner with the Life Transformation Medical Center, is what we call functional medicine. And functional medicine is finding the underlying cause. We do extensive investigative work. I tell people, I put on my Sherlock Holmes hat, we're going to find out what's going on here. We're going to find the answer. We're going to do the investigative work and find out why you're sick. Why are you having these symptoms? And that's what I did, 30 years ago, trying to find out why I was having the health problems I was having, why I was having such severe gastritis. And I picked up a natural medicine book in the store one day and said, this looks interesting. I'm going to see if there's an answer in here.
You guys had a natural medicine book inside of a pharmacy?
No. It wasn't in my pharmacy.
Okay. I was going to say, wait a minute.
I found it. Yeah, I found it in a bookstore. And but the pharmacy that I eventually opened up several years later had all kinds of natural medicine books in it.
I love it.
Because I opened up an integrated pharmacy that where we did the traditional thing, but we also provided all these natural solutions. Because when I found the answer for my own health problems naturally, holistically, it changed my life, and I wanted to share that with other people. Because I knew a lot of other people were suffering like I was. And I started telling my story, started telling people what this had done for me, and they started seeing the results, and I started learning more. And I got intrigued with natural medicine. I tell people all the time, in pharmacy school, I was taught the history of natural medicine, not the application of it. So I had to learn all these things on my own. I started taking courses. Every course I could find on natural medicine, I was taking it. I found a company that was offering certification courses in different cities across the country. They would these courses on the weekend, bring practitioners in, get them certified in holistic and natural therapies. And so I did that for a few years. And I've got certificates all over my wall in my office here of all these certifications I've done to learn natural medicine and learn the benefits of it, how to apply it, and all those things.
Well, real
so
quick on that.
That's kind of how I evolved as a pharmacist to what I'm doing today.
Well, let's dive into that real quick, because let's be real. I mean, as time goes by, I get more and more naturally focused. I'm very big into proper supplementation because our food is nutrient deficient. I'm very big into wellness. I literally have a chiropractic appointment scheduled tomorrow. I did my first floating spa type of thing last week, floating in Epsom salts in one of those deprivation type rooms. So there's no sound and no light. That was really fun, very different.
Yeah.
I'm all about massage. Now, there's a lot of people, though, that say, well, holistic or natural path doctors, or however you want to call them, chiropractic, there's a certain percentage, and they almost seem like it's like that scary religion, right? Like, oh, I don't believe in any of that. I'm like, well, it's not a religion, so you don't have to really believe in it, but you can't knock it till you tried it. But then everybody else will then reinforce that further and say, well, there's no governing body over top of this certification body. And I said, well, yes and no. Like, can you speak to some of that, since you brought up a lot of this, all these certifications that you decided to put yourself through? Have you seen an improvement in the educational aspect or the governing body over that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, there are, in the past several years, actually, since I've been, doing this past 20 years, I've been getting educated in the area of natural medicine, and my education continues every year. I'm, attending some kind of course and trying to learn something, furthering my education, because things are ever changing. There's new things being developed, new things being learned all the time. But yeah, there have been a lot of natural medicine schools that have popped up in all across the country because there's a need for it. And these schools have to be accredited. I mean, they don't just, pop up and say, hey, we're going to form a school and we start training people and teaching people.
Well, let's be real. That happens in the traditional educational space right now, too. You got these business schools who pop up and they say they're accredited. And then all of a sudden you got these students who have been there for a couple of years and they find out that the stuff's not transferable to a major university because it's just a I hate to say regular school, but it's not truly an accredited institution.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's some of those things out there in every area, but there are quite a few accredited schools that have started up over the past several years.
Okay.
That are actually training practitioners and helping practitioners get additional degrees and take their education to a whole nother level in the area of natural medicine. And that's being done. And so there are governing bodies, there are associations, there's holistic medical associations, the natural medicine associations, there's naturopathic doctor associations. There's all of these associations out there that are serving as governing bodies over the schools, over the practitioners. And unfortunately, there are a lot of states that won't allow natural medicine to be practiced. As far as, a doctor hanging up his shingle and saying, okay, I'm opening up an office to practice naturopathic medicine here. People with a degree like mine, doctor of pharmacy, the medical doctor that I work with here in the clinic, we can practice natural medicine to a certain extent, but we can't say we're natural medicine doctors and practice as a natural medicine doctor.
Yes, I was going to say, because you're still tied so heavily to traditional medicine, those governing bodies would flip their lid.
That's right.
It's because this is happening all over the world right now. I forget the doctor's name off the top of my head. It was going on in South Africa. He was in the courts because he was trying to promote, reducing sugar intake and increasing healthy fats in the diet. And somebody kind of set him up, I think, over Twitter. And this woman with a baby asked about that type of, sugar reducted, healthier fat type of diet. And he commented on it. And next thing you know, they took this guy to court. Dr. Noakes, if you're familiar with him. Yeah. It's been going viral for the past couple of years. So, because he's a traditional medicine doctor, and all of a sudden he's speaking to things outside of the traditional heart disease world, or the traditional, because your website, you talk about diabetes a lot. And I love that because my dad's type 2 diabetic. And actually, while we're talking here, I'm going to go ahead and share our screen for our YouTube watchers. So that way they know, if they haven't gone to carsonnatural.com, they can at least see what we're talking about. But you've actually been connected with a number of, I guess you want to call them organizations here, right? You got the AADE, the American Association of Diabetes Educators. You've got the National Diabetes Prevention Program. What is that a special niche that you've been really targeting, since obviously we're seeing a massive increase in diabetes?
Absolutely. And, that's one of my specialties, is working with diabetics. And, in Mississippi, where I live, Mississippi is not number one in very many things at all. The things we are number one in, I don't want us to be number one in, and that's diabetes and obesity. Mm-hmm. Generally, our neighbor Alabama, we go back and forth. One year they're number one, the next year we're number one. So what
about Louisiana?
Louisiana's right in the top 5 as well.
I figured.
And, most of the southern states are at least probably in the top 10 as far as diabetes and obesity. And it's something that is a need here, for somebody to be teaching these people that they don't have to go that route. They can make some lifestyle changes. There's some things that they can do a little bit different that can help prevent them from going down the road of becoming a diabetic. But it's an epidemic. It's not just something that happens occasionally or every once in a while somebody gets diabetes. No, it's an epidemic all across this nation. But it's worse here in the southeast part of the country.
Now, why do you feel it's the southeast? Is it a lot of people? I've talked to a number of people about this. Some people say, "Oh, it's because of the income bracket," right? Because they say that in a lower income bracket, there's more people consuming grains and sugars and things of that nature. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. I see that happening. That's part of it, but that's not the total underlying reason.
Okay.
But it does play into it with some people, not with everybody, but it does play into it with some people because there are people with, in this area too, that are in the same income bracket as a obese person with diabetes that's not obese and diabetic, because they are taking better care of themselves. It's choices mostly. It's their
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle choices. No matter what the income bracket is, it's lifestyle choices.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let's be real.
What it boils down to.
We could go and pick a gentleman who's doing a cool $1 million a year, who has a very successful business, and he or she could be overweight due to their lifestyle. They
Yep.
could be high stress, poor nutrition. All those variables add together. It's not just one thing.
Exactly. Yep. I've had with clients, talk with people that are on opposite ends of the scale when it comes to income, and they're in the same shape physically.
So, since you're so intriguing to me because you come from the traditional medicine space. You have a traditional medicine doctor that you're partnered with your physical practice. But then you have a website and a brand known as carsonnatural.com. Have you started, is there controversy there? I mean, you talking to us right now, are you taking any risks talking about this natural balance, I guess? Let's call it balance. So I try to get people to open their minds to a natural path. Is that a concern professionally?
Exactly. No, I don't get concerned with it. And balance is another key word of mine. I love, that's what I teach. I teach balanced nutrition. I teach balanced lifestyle, balanced living, keeping every aspect of our being in the proper balance. The book I wrote earlier this year, released earlier, How to Live Until You Die. It's all about balance. It's all about keeping a body, the soul, the spirit in proper balance. And that's something that I teach and preach all the time, is that we've got to keep every aspect of our being in balance if we want to have an optimal health, optimal life, enjoy life, and live life to its fullest. If we keep everything in proper balance, it makes a difference. But as far as the balance between what I do in the natural medicine and traditional medicine, I don't worry about it. If somebody, I've been chastised a lot over the years from other medical professionals. I let it roll off my back. I don't worry about it anymore. At first, it bothered me when I first started doing this. It hurt my feelings. I'll be honest. Doctor called me up and cussed me out for telling one of his patients, which was my patient as well, about something natural. It stung. But I learned to just let it go. And I kept doing what I was doing. I kept preaching what I was preaching, kept teaching what I was teaching. And, some of those doctors now coming to me for help, and they're asking me for help, or they're sending patients to me saying, can you help my patient?
And just so our listeners know this, again, guys, you can go to the YouTube channel because I'm literally sharing his website right now. And I just zoomed in on the hot bullet points about the book. And I love how strong you went with the title. Because let's be real, the average person does have concerns with death and longevity and their livelihood. And unfortunately, there is traditional medicine doctors and what you just talked about, I wouldn't mind you jumping in here and kind of taking a controversial answer here, but doctors get paid by drugs, right?
Yeah.
And procedures.
Yeah.
So that doctor was probably upset with you because you're tapping into his income stream. Am I wrong?
Could have been. Yeah. And, and a lot of times too, in the doctors I've dealt with over the years, it's what's ingrained in them as far as natural medicine as opposed to traditional medicine. And, even I was taught going through pharmacy school back in the late 70s, early 80s, that all this natural stuff that was out there years ago is a thing of the past. This is modern. We got modern medicine now. This stuff didn't work anyway. That's why we have modern medicine. But I learned that was not true. And there's a revival, so to speak, going on now with natural products and natural medicine, natural therapies. People are actually seeking those things out and looking for somebody that will help them in the area of natural medicine, that will give them advice, educated advice, and help them make the right choices. And
Well,
that's
I'm one
one
of
of
them.
the things that I love to do, is help people make the right choices. Because, there's a lot of quackery going on out there as well, Scott, and a lot of misinformation out there that people don't often filter through, and people don't often take time to investigate. Is this really true? Is this or is this some kind of hoax or something? And some people get swindled and taken advantage of. And one of my one of my jobs, I feel like, is to help people get the truth and help people see what's real and what's not.
I love that Southern flair you got, man, because that word quackery, that quackery word is just, it's fun, but unfortunately it is so true. My thing is this, and maybe I'm just coming from a pure mindset because I'm not in your profession, but if at one point in time, people chose the path of a healthcare practitioner, a doctor, whatever, to help people. And unfortunately, due to the pressures and the financial influence of the medical and pharmaceutical world, they flex their muscle, and now they've turned that doctor who used to care into an assembly line type of operation. Henry Ford would be rolling over in his grave. The guy created assembly lines for automobiles, and now literally that is not what that gentleman was ever expecting to happen in the medical world of healthcare. But that's what they do. Like, these guys have to deal with, and women, doctors in general, but I hear on an average, they got to be in and out in like 10, 15 minutes. I don't know if that's true or not, but
it is. They got quotas they got to meet in most of these practices. And if they don't meet them, they're in trouble. Or they may say, okay, you're out of here. We got to find a doctor who will see more patients and get more people coming through here. Because that's the deal. You got to see so many a day to keep the income flowing, to keep the money flowing through. And if you can't do that, then we got to find somebody that can.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I used to live out west. I'm from this area here in Pennsylvania, but I moved out to Arizona, Colorado. And when I moved back, I was already heavily influenced from more of that natural lifestyle, thanks to Colorado. Love that state. I moved back, and one of my oldest friends, her husband, is a traditional medicine doctor. So I said, okay, you know what? I should probably have blood work on record somewhere, right? Like, legally, I have to have healthcare, even though I don't use it, because my healthcare doesn't let me actually work on my health. It doesn't pay for my supplements. It doesn't pay for my vitamins. It doesn't pay for my chiropractic care, my massage care. That's the healthcare that I need. Right. So when I moved back here in 2013, I went to him, did the blood work. He's like, why are you here? And I said, I should probably have some paperwork on record somewhere. It's been years because I'm so healthy, I don't need to. And sure enough, he's like, yeah, you're healthy as a horse. He's like, don't come back in like 5 years. So it's cool that he told me that. Yeah. But then a year and a half later, him and I think 6 or 7 of the doctors, they all owned their practice. Yeah. And then they sold out. So because around here, there's 2 major health networks. One is called St. Luke's. One is called the Lehigh Valley Health Network. There's a couple of smaller ones like Good Shepherd, but they're all just buying up all of the doctors' practices and calling them, a part of the network. And great. They got to sell out, make a good upfront money, but now they're officially, whether they liked it or not, are now definitely an assembly line because they got to follow the rules of the health network. Yep.
Exactly right. Yeah. It's a Sickcare system. It's not a healthcare system.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And Dr. William Davis says, we call it healthcare, but it's not providing health. And it's really what it is. We have a sick care system, not a healthcare system.
And I love that term because, and for our listeners, guys, I have tagged his book in past episodes. Dr. William Davis is the author of Wheat Belly, and he's got a few new books out too, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's got a brand new book that was recently released. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's somebody I just haven't been able to track down yet and get on this show, but I would love to honor him and everything that he's done because he's been a great influence and definitely somebody that I highly recommend for people. But I love that Sickcare system. I might use that for your show episode title. Actually, that's fun.
Yeah.
So part of your background, I mean, let's rewind back to the show here real quick. You were in pharmacy since 85. So you've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
You founded Carson Natural Health in 2005. And from your backstory, basically, that was due to your own frustration, your own self-care work, trying to figure out, hack your problems. Right nowadays, we're all using these terms, biohacking, hacking, whatever. But literally, you were just trying to hack your heartburn and stress levels. So, and now fast forward, this is 2017. You're helping countless patients with natural solutions to their health problems versus the traditional pharmaceutical path. What would you say to help us understand? Because I don't know what the world's like down there, but what's the ratio? Are you seeing an increase in people being more open because you've been more established for a while? Like what's it like down there at your physical practice?
Oh yeah. Well, this physical practice I have right now, the Life Transformation Medical Center, we've been open for about a year and a half now.
Oh wow.
This doctor and I partnered up a year and a half ago and opened this clinic up. And I left the traditional pharmacy practice that I was in at the time, and she left traditional medicine practice she was in, and we came together and formed this clinic. But Carson Natural online business I've had for a long time. Originally, Scott, Carson Natural was a brick and mortar operation. That I opened up in 2006. I came up with the idea of having a natural pharmacy in a little town. I had a traditional, like I said, an integrated pharmacy, and another town a few miles down the road. I said, hey, it was a bigger town. I said, I'm going to open up a natural pharmacy in this town because I had outgrown the other operation. We needed more room, more space to do a lot of things that we were doing. So I went down the road, neighboring town, opened up Carson Natural Health and Wellness Center.
Okay.
And
again, this is before the Life Transformation Center.
Oh yeah, this is way before.
Okay.
And so I opened this operation up. 2006, we opened the door. 2009. I locked the door and walked away.
Wow.
Lost everything I had. I had invested heavily in both of these pharmacies. Downturn in the economy in 2008, 2009, I became a casualty of that downturn and I lost everything.
Yeah, that had to hit you hard. That hits so many industries. As a business professional, I'm just like, I geek out on this. I'm not just a health nut because people didn't realize it wasn't just the housing market, right? It wasn't just financial companies. Now all of a sudden, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but just my prediction is, now everybody's like, they're really dialing back. People aren't spending money on vitamins and these extra natural health steps. Was that part of the impact?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was part of the impact. And
which frustrates the hell out of me because it's your health. Like the one thing you don't cut back on is your daily health.
Yeah, exactly. And but people do. They don't put enough importance and emphasis on it, and that's why there's so many people sick. It's because it's not as important to them as it should be. And
it's funny that you use the word integrative, right? Integrative. Like the whole point of that word, especially in what we're talking about right now, is that health, nutrition, your lifestyle, that is integrated into everything that you have to do moving forward. It's your business, it's your job performance, it's your health to be able to play with your children and grow a family. Like everything is integrated back to your health, your stress levels, everything. So it's funny how people see a financial crisis and the one thing they sacrifice that could help them survive the health crisis with the stress levels and the daily mental and physical gains is their health.
Yep. That's right.
It's crazy.
It is. And it frustrates me too when I have somebody that says, I can't afford that. They can afford a lot of other things, but
you can't afford not to is what I tell people.
Their health, they say, exactly. And, I've often said, people are, working their tails off, saving money, preparing a nest egg for the future, whatever. And someday they're going to look at that and they're going to say, well, what the health happened to my wealth? And because their deteriorating health is going to eat away at their wealth.
Well, it's you and I are bonding well now, sir, because I got another one, another little thing that I tell people, because I have my own nutrition business on the side too, a part of a larger organization. But I tell people, my guys, like, let's say you're investing in your nest eggs and I'm investing in real estate, blah, blah, blah. And I got all these income streams. Now you got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. You're 55 years old. Something goes wrong. You're laid up in a bed in a hospital.
Yeah.
What's that money worth to you now?
Yeah.
You could have millions of dollars, and let's say you become bedridden in a medical center, or they put you up in one of these nice little care facilities. Who cares? But it's like, great, I've got all this money and I can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always trying to drill into people. I'm like, guys, invest in the now, because that's what you're investing in for the future. You're willing to invest in like flipping apartments, but you're stopping at the 7-Eleven for a Slurpee to go over and swing a hammer and demolish a wall in a property that you're trying to like get all this money out of. And I'm like, okay, but then you made all the money on that property, and then 2 months from now, because you're not healthy lifestyle, now you got to go in and pay for a medical procedure, or you've got a hernia, or all of these side effects. And this is one of the reasons why I geek out about this stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I'm with you. And, I tell the people all the time, we don't know how many years of life we're going to get. We may get blessed with 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, 100 years. They don't know. But to me, the quality is more important than the quantity.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, I have a goal, in my mind, to live to be at least 100 years old. But if I do live to be 100, even 120, I want to know that I did. I want to have that quality of life. I don't want to be laying up somewhere in a hospital bed or in a nursing home, 90 years old and not even know I'm in the world. I want to know. I want to have that quality of life. And to have that quality of life, we've got to be proactive with our health now. We got to invest in our health now. And it is an investment. And people don't look at it that way. They invest in all these other things like you're talking about, but we're not investing in our health.
It's
the future of our health.
And this is why I drill so heavily. Like, if I had to admit, like when I launched this show, obviously there's 3 domains: health, business, lifestyle. And I'm trying to teach people how to balance these 3 things, because everything is integrated. I'm going to use your word, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm drilling so heavily on this, because right now you go on social media, or you got all this crazy growth of entrepreneurship again, which is really what founded this country, right? We had small businesses trading with each other and doing business with each other. So it's great that, really, I don't care how big these corporations are. It's small business that has built this country and keeps it going. So I love to see that entrepreneurial passion. I love to help fuel that. But I have to remind these people, I'm like, part of that fueling the entrepreneurial dream is you got to take care of yourself, because you are going to get stressed out. I don't care who you are. I've gotten stressed out. But thanks to my healthy lifestyle, it allows me to manage that stress and control it and hit the reset switch way faster, and also even prevent it from even happening. That's what we're talking about here.
That's right. Exactly right.
So what's one of your best practices? Like, how do you, and I know there's so many ways you can go with this, but like top 3 things for stress prevention, like what do you got?
Yeah. Well, one of them, you've mentioned, and we've talked a little bit, is exercise, physical, taking care of our physical selves, our physical bodies. And exercise is a great stress reliever.
By now, some people say exercise stresses them out.
Yeah, well, they may be overdoing it if that's the case. If they're doing it right, it shouldn't be stressing them out. Mm-hmm. Some people get stressed out about doing it, but if it's done right, it's done properly, you do some type of exercise that you enjoy. And that's what a lot of people do. They get into some kind of physical fitness program, and it does stress them out, because they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. Mm-hmm. They're doing something they're not made for. Their body's not made for, or something that they're punishing themselves. A lot of people are doing it. They're punishing themselves with physical fitness. Do something you enjoy doing and stick with it is what I tell people.
What I can back you up, because in my free time, I'm a CFL1 CrossFit coach. So
Yeah.
I found CrossFit back in 2010 when I was living in Arizona, and I left the corporate world and I did a little wildland firefighting with the Forest Service, with the federal government, traveling all over the West, hiking in the mountains. You had to be really, really fit. We were very militaristic for firefighting.
Yeah.
And I've carried that all these years since, and then eventually so passionate about it, I was like, I'm going to become a coach and help, instill that in others. And the biggest thing that I'm constantly catching people on is overexertion. Everybody's like, oh man, I got 4 days in this week. I'm like, it's not the quantity, guys. Like, it's the quality of the fitness. It's the quality of the exercise, and it's the balance of the right amount of rest and recovery. And like, people don't understand that I'll take an entire day off and do like a full detox and like deep cleansing day, like a nutritional cleansing type of period, because I want to just let my body focus on just that whole detox process and flushing the inflammation out and everything else. And some people look at me like I got two heads.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But that's just because they don't know, they don't understand that yet. And they don't know that the human body is an amazing machine. And it will do some of its own, it has its own ability to do its own cleansing and detoxification processes. But because we're so bombarded with the toxins in the environment and our food, our water, everything else, our bodies aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And they need a little extra love to do what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then detoxing is a big part of what we do in the wellness program that we have here. We work with people on that and take people through a detox process. And it's extremely important because you're right. We are bombarded with toxins in all directions. And, people don't realize a lot of times that they're that's one of the underlying causes of their health issues is toxicity. Mm-hmm. The toxins that are stored in the cells in their body that need to be removed. But
because I had on Dr. Sylvia Tara. She's a biology PhD, and she wrote a new, very successful book called The Secret Life of Fat. And I loved her because she studied everything about fat cells. And I love the fact that she just reinforced what I teach people is like, guys, like, your fat cells are an amazing cell. They are designed to protect you. So if your liver and your kidneys and everything are already overtaxed and they can't filter these existing toxins out in your bloodstream, your body's going to say, okay, I still got to get them out of the bloodstream. So they're storing them in the fat cells. And that's where they're hiding until you can amplify your rest and your recovery and what you're talking about to help get that out the right way.
Exactly.
Or it gets stored up, could be impacting, again, I'm not the doctor, could be impacting diabetes, weight gain. A lot of people just focus on weight as a number. And I'm like, guys, like, a lot of it is inflammatory weight. It's the stress weight. We can geek out about fat cells.
Oh yeah. And you're right. It is the stress that's part of the underlying cause of weight gain, obesity, or the inability to lose weight. A lot of people are they're doing all these things to try to lose weight, but they're not being successful. And stress is one of the underlying causes there because of what the stress does to the body physiologically, the changes that take place, and the effects that stress has on the adrenal glands, which control metabolism, control all kinds of functions in the body. And
I was going to help lead us to that connection, but you're already ahead of me because I was really hoping we'd hit on some adrenal, before the show ended up today, because a lot of people don't understand adrenal fatigue.
Yeah.
And as I told you earlier, clearly, and you're going to be able to help catch us up on this, I know, because this is going to be another one of these ways to really impact and help remove stress from the body, is that adrenal fatigue or measuring adrenal fatigue is not just a blood test. I hear you got some kind of saliva thing going on. Like, catch us up on that. Like, how can a regular everyday person understand what adrenal fatigue is and how to, I guess, grab a hold of it, manage it, whatever?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we do adrenal testing here in our clinic, and I've actually been doing it, before we ever started this clinic. I've been doing adrenal testing on patients through the pharmacy operation for years, working with a lab from Washington State that developed adrenal testing 30-something years ago. using saliva samples to check cortisol levels, to check hormone levels in the body, and see how stress has affected the health of the adrenals, the output of the adrenals, and measuring if the adrenals are fatigued, or if they're working properly, if they're in the correct balance with what's called the circadian rhythm, because the cortisol output of the adrenals is supposed to be in what's called a circadian rhythm, working with the sun and the moon, up in the morning, down in the evening, staying in the proper curve and balance throughout the day. And stress, chronic stress, traumatic, a stressful event in a person's life, whether it be physical, emotional, whatever, it doesn't matter, can throw off that rhythm and get everything out of balance. And so what we do here is to help a person, we do the analysis, we do the testing to see what's out of balance and help a person restore that balance, and to do it naturally, to do it with supplements, to do it with lifestyle change, to do it with stress management. And that's, we find so many people that are suffering from adrenal stress, and they don't realize it. They don't know that that's what the problem is. So there are quite a few supplements that can help restore the adrenals if a person is working to manage that stress at the same time. And so that we don't just teach or say, okay, take this adrenal product and you'll be okay. No, you've got to learn to manage the stress as well in your life. And you asked me about that a minute ago, and I'll tell you another thing that I do in helping manage stress as I'm talking about that is have a routine.
Okay.
A daily routine is a great way to help prevent stress in your life. And just to give you an example of my own life, I would stay up late at night, not get enough sleep, get up as late as I possibly could in the morning to be able to rush around quick as I could, grab something on the way out the door, usually a protein bar or something on the way out the door, and eat it on the way to work, all stressed out. By the time I walked in the door and I got to work, I was already stressed, walking into a stressful situation that was going to add more stress to my life. So one of the things that I do now is that I get to bed a little bit earlier. I get up a little bit earlier. I have a routine. I get up and I work out in the morning. I have some quiet time. I don't do it every day. I do it most days of the week, 4 or 5 days a week, that I'm up working out early in the morning. And after that, I have my quiet time of prayer, meditation, reading, those kind of things, just to, prepare myself for the day. And then I ease into the day. I don't rush into the day. Occasionally I get thrown off course, and
we all do,
and I pay for it too. But when I stick with that routine, oh man, it makes life a lot easier, and it keeps me from having as much of a stress in my life when I'm doing that preparation.
The beauty of a routine, and I teach people that too. I'm like, guys, number one, you have to define your why. So then your routine's actually much more executable and maintainable. And especially when you have those days that does throw it off, it's like, hey, it's okay. I'll get as much of that routine back online today as I can and reset it tomorrow, because I have a game plan and I've proven that it works when I do it. So that's the beauty of developing that routine. Like something I added recently in the past few months was I've been traveling. Like this week, I traveled a lot. So I was going to bed earlier, getting up early, like you said, maybe an hour just to change up because I need to get on the road earlier for some business meetings, hours from here. So I said, okay, well, like this morning, actually the last 3 mornings, I could have slept in later, like my normal cycle, but I adapted it this week about a half an hour to 45 minutes earlier because over the past few months, I've added in, and I'm still trying to understand grounding, but I said, you know what? My kitchen's right here. The yard is right there. Yeah. I'm gonna take our coonhound, let him outside before my fiance even gets up, which normally she takes care of him. But I'm like, hey, it gives me an excuse to let him out in the yard. He just walks around, does his thing. And I'm standing there drinking my morning my special tea that I kick off the day with, and I'm just sitting there enjoying it. And I'm standing on the grass barefoot. I'm all dressed, ready to go, but I'm just letting that downtime happen. So when I get in the car, and for a lot of people, driving for long hours is stressful, but it's like I've eased the start of my day, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, and I've been enjoying it actually. And it's just like when you step out there and you got the cold, wet grass, I don't know if it's the grounding or just the fact that my feet aren't used to cold, wet grass, but I like it.
Yeah. That's something that the subject has come up quite a few times recently, is the grounding. I was actually talking to a doctor friend about it a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And it's
I got to get you connected with Jack Cruz then, because he's very, very huge into mitochondrial health.
Oh, yes.
Circadian rhythm.
Oh, yes.
All about the sun. He purposely moved years ago to Louisiana because he said at that location in the country, it's got the same amount of solar exposure or whatever as like being in a high altitude training environment. So he purposely relocated himself there for that exact purpose.
Wow.
But that's why he on my show, he literally called himself, he's like, listen, he's like, a lot of you guys are out there doing the biohacking thing. That's good. He's like, you're getting started. He's like, when you're ready, he's like, you got to come join the mito-hacking camp. So he calls himself a mito-hacker for the mitochondria. And I was like, whoa, I've never heard that term before.
Yeah. I haven't either, but I love it. Yeah.
I gotta help you get him on your show because, like I said, he doesn't have a podcast. I mean, heck, you provided so much valuable information today. I was making a list here while you were talking. So I definitely want to hook you up with, do you know Dr. Sylvia Tara, the Secret Life of Fat author?
I don't, but I'd love to meet her.
All right. Well, I have all these people's emails, so I'm going to send out little intro emails because I'm a marketing guy. I'm a networking guy. I love to interconnect people. At least I can do is get the intro out there because you have a different audience than I do. So if this helps you grow your audience and just educate people more what these people know, I also want to get you connected. Are you familiar with Dr. Jack Wolfson, the paleo cardiologist?
Yeah. And I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's been on the show as well. Have you had him yet? See,
awesome.
And he loves podcasts. So I'm going to get him on your show because thanks to the influence of his natural medicine doctor, cardiologist wife, she's a chiropractic wife. Yeah. He was from the traditional medical heart doctor world. Yeah. And he realized he wasn't actually providing healthcare. Goes back to your Sickcare comment, right? Mm-hmm. And he left. He was a part of a very, very large health, cardiovascular type of practice in Arizona. And he left thanks to her influence. They got married. They're known as the Doctors Wolfson all over social media and online.
Yeah, I heard that.
And he's got the book, The Paleocardiologist, but he's just like you guys. They created a practice focused around finding a natural way, to deal with these things. And stop putting everybody on freaking statins because that seems to be like, oh, well, you got a heart concern? Oh, well, let's put you on a statin. I'm like, no.
That's right.
Why don't you find out what's triggering it before you go put people on freaking statins and drugs and other problems? So
yeah, I agree 100%. I'm anti-statin. As a pharmacist, I'm anti-statin.
Oh yeah, I got to get you at least, and after today's show, I'll get at least these 3 intros set up for you over email, just to honor and grow our network together. Because you honored us coming on our show today, and I feel like I at least owe you that. And then if I can think of anybody else, I'll definitely be bouncing them around for you. So
awesome, I appreciate that.
Now, you also mentioned earlier in the show that, because I actually am going to probably take advantage of it, you got a little hookup for us, for our Live the Fuel listeners. Yeah. And I think I want to try that because admittedly, I've been so busy, and that's not a good excuse. Yeah. I've been wanting to, part of my biohacking is I haven't gotten into all of the advanced testing yet. Yeah. So I want to start playing around with these things because I know that you can get advanced blood panel testing. I have never done a saliva test. I was actually getting ready to order the whole, what do you think about the 23andMe thing?
Yeah. There's a lot of DNA testing. I actually do some DNA testing myself. I have a DNA testing product called NutraSync.
Okay.
I work with a company out of Colorado and California. Okay. That called BodySync. That has a product called NutraSync. And there's a new field of medicine, so to speak, called nutrigenomics.
Yes, I am familiar with that term.
We're using genetics to determine exactly what a person should be eating what types of foods they should be eating, what type of nutrients they need to prevent possible diseases down the road. And this DNA testing can tell what you may be predisposed for.
Okay.
You may be predisposed for diabetes. You may be predisposed for osteoporosis, heart disease, cancer. And the DNA testing can tell you that and give you insight into and direction into what nutrients you need to be getting into your body that could help possibly prevent those problems from happening down the road.
I do truly believe that we're all human beings, but because we've all been coming from different bloodlines, different ethnicities, and those ethnicities and bloodlines have all matured in different parts of the world, different climates. People don't understand that. Yeah, we are all technically supposedly stemming from one, being, but the planet has so many different exposure points of environment that the human body is an amazing, powerful machine, and it will adapt and shift and change throughout our lives, especially through generational change. And things like gut health and microbiome is going to be different for all of us, depending on our exposure points and what has affected us. So
exactly. And since we're talking about this, let me throw this out, because this is something I think is very valuable. That a couple of studies that have been recently done by the Northwestern University, comparing lifestyle to genetics.
Okay.
And as far as health outcomes. And these studies showed that in most every case, lifestyle trumps genetics.
I agree.
If you learn these things and you put these things into action in your life, you make the proper lifestyle changes, you can affect your genes and what happens in the future with your health.
So I have a techie background, so I will translate what you're saying, because I've talked about this before, and I'm glad you're helping reinforce this. Our cells are kind of like chips in a computer. Yeah. And just like a computer can be reprogrammed with the right programmer, all right? Yep. Our cells can be reprogrammed. And again, I'm speaking from a general lifestyle point of view, but everything that I'm reading, everything that I'm studying, you're reinforcing it. I tell people, like, I've done it. I mean, nobody in my family looks like me. Everybody's overweight. Everybody's like, oh, there's the Mulvaney gene. I'm like, no, then clearly I must be alien. That I was like, and I still throughout my life have been able to change things, because it takes time. Most people are impatient. It takes time. You have to allow the change to happen and allow enough time. And like people want body transformations. The people that I coach on body transformations, my guys, like minimum 16 weeks of work. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, you have to allow the body to reprogram and get used to these new changes. You can't just change it this week and expect everything to be perfect in 2-3 weeks. Like, the body needs time to reprogram it. And I think the timeline of reprogramming is different depending on how healthy or not healthy you are as well too. And again, that could be me talking out of my butt, but I totally back up everything you're saying about being able to reprogram our DNA thanks to our lifestyle changes and practices.
Yeah, exactly right. I agree 100%. And I tell people all the time, some people come to me with concerns. Well, my mom had diabetes. My granddad had diabetes. I'm destined to get it. I said, no, you're not. There's things you can do with your lifestyle. You can start working right now to prevent that from happening to you, and that's what you need to do.
If genetics was true, I had zero history of diabetes in my family bloodline. Yeah. About 9 years ago, my dad became a type 2 diabetic. Yep. Nobody else in the family has diabetes. So does that mean that my nephew is going to get diabetes? No, absolutely not.
Same here with me, Scott. My dad was diagnosed with diabetes several years ago, type 2. Nobody else in our family has diabetes. I'm not looking to become a diabetic because he is.
Nope.
And I can tell you right now, I know why he's a diabetic. It's because of his stressful lifestyle that he lived for so many years, and not taking care of himself.
And I truly think that your father and my father can be reprogrammed or could be reprogrammed but they have to want to do it.
That's exactly right.
I ran him a couple years ago through my detox nutritional cleansing program, and he automatically blamed my regimen that I put him on, which was super, super healthy, because after the first 2 months, he didn't feel right. He was all groggy and everything else. I was like, have you been going back to your doctor? because he's on pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And I said, you might be over medicated now because I've really kicked a crap load of, he's never gone through that level of health and vitamins and nutrient density except for that 2 months. Like, I guarantee you're probably over medicated right now. He didn't bother going back for 3 to 4 months. He went off of my program, but that 2-3 month transition of at least me working with him, when he finally did go back to the doctor, they cut his medication in half.
Yeah.
And I said, so let's go back to working together again. Like, clearly something worked. But I'm sure you know what it's like. I tell people all the time, your family, your friends, they're the hardest ones to help. You have to just put the information out there, and when they're ready to listen, they may come back, they may not. I had to finally let that go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now, but yeah, I'm totally intrigued on this whole saliva testing thing, or whatever you want to offer our audience, because I'll be the first one to click on the link and give it a whirl, because I still got admittedly, the Dr. Wolfson, he's got a cool test. I don't have a problem because I'm pretty much grain free, but he's got this test called the Wheat Zoomer. You'll have to go on his website. I'll get you guys connected, but it's basically inflammation, immune activation, oxidative stress type of analysis testing, but it's like $400. So, I don't have any problems with my gut health because I'm super, super healthy. But for some people, they may want to know that. And admittedly, I can't knock it till I try it. So I'm basically making a list of all the stuff that I want to start playing around with, but I'd rather relate these tests to me. And, but yeah, I'll have to do 1 or 2 of your tests or whatever you recommend, because then maybe we'll get you back on. Yeah. And I don't care about HIPAA crap. I think it'd be best for our audience, or even your audience. I'll come on your show if you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. And you can dig into my results and help people understand what the heck this is all about, because I love transparency. That's part of my brand. I was like, I'll say whatever it is, doesn't matter. I put it all out there. That way no one can ever say that I'm trying to hide something.
That's exactly right. I love it. It.
So,
what I've got to offer your listeners today is a free stress assessment.
Nice.
And a free guide that I've developed called the 7 Keys to Stress Relief. If they want to go to carsonnatural.com/livethefuel, there'll be some links there about today's show and how they can get those that assessment in that document. They can give them 7 tips that I incorporate or implement in my own life that have helped me in dealing with stress, and many others as well.
I love that.
That's carsonnatural.com/livethefuel. They'll be able to get those there. And if they want to take it a step further and have some saliva testing done, they'll be able to contact me through my website. We can get set up and provide that test through the lab for anybody that would like to do that. And if you want to do that for yourself, we can connect after the show and be glad to set you up with that.
Yeah, let's. I want to learn more about. I want to read up on it too. Like, do you have a page on that on the website?
There is a link I can send you on it that'll link you directly to the lab's website.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's on if that link is on my website or not, but I can get it. To you.
I scored it. I figured it out. I'm very good at websites. It's you guys use like Diagnose Text.
Yeah, Diagnose Text. That's it.
Yeah. But what I'll do is I'll hyperlink your links, because it's all about driving traffic through your site. Because that way Diagnose Text loves you more. But I'll put all these hyperlinks in your show notes. That way people can click through and find all this stuff like I just did. So because you do have it linked in your site, I just have to give them the link to find that on the show notes. So again, to our listeners, guys, as always, we do very robust show notes. I will hyperlink all of this stuff so you guys can stop writing things down and just go to livethefuel.com when his show airs and look at all that wonderful link stuff and start playing around like I will be doing as well, because I will be checking out this whole saliva testing thing. This sounds awesome. I've been looking at an excuse to kick my biohacking into gear, because I have no tests to back up how healthy I know that I am. So I need some bragging rights. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of playing around with this stuff. I don't know if that's what that test will do for me, but
it will. Okay. It'll give you some insight as to where you are, and if you're on track or not. If you're not, then we will give you the advice and the recommendations on how to get back on track.
That's super cool.
Often when the adrenals are out of balance, people are having issues. They're having problems, and one of the main ones is sleep. they can't sleep. They can't sleep. They're having trouble getting asleep, or they're having trouble staying asleep. And that's when that rhythm is out of balance. The circadian rhythm is off.
That's my fiance.
It needs to be restored.
She's a large animal equine vet doctor, as well as a chiropractic doctor, and for animals. But she studied alongside of human chiropractic doctors. But her sleep cycles are terrible. Like, she'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so she can go to sleep fine. She can't stay asleep. And I think part of it is that her earlier years of becoming a doctor and working for, basically she's an on-call a lot. So she's programmed herself to, listen for the phone. And then I don't even sleep with my phone. I purposely bought an old school clock to remove those frequencies from next to my bed. But she still takes her phone right there to bed. I could go off about that. She's sitting there looking at the blue light before she goes to sleep. She's looking at the iPad. She's looking at the television before she goes to sleep. I'm like, everything that you and I know, it's like I said, I can only teach one thing at a time, and it's up to her when she wants to listen. But I'd love to get that test probably done for her to help back up what I'm trying to tell her. Maybe that's my hack. If I could prove it with testing, she will probably listen, wouldn't she?
That's right. That's right.
Oh, now we're cooking with gas. I'm loving this. Well, listen, this has been a powerful episode. You're a busy man. I want to make sure I give your day back to you. We've just come up on an hour here. So I hinted at it before we kicked off the show here today. And hang tight once we're done, because I want to give you a proper goodbye, and I'll get you connected to the people that I know and vice versa. But everything behind what you're doing, where you came from, the messaging behind your mission, behind your center that you guys are running, everything behind CarsonNatural.com. Like, what is the messaging behind everything you're doing right now today? I mean, if everybody forgets everything else they heard on this wonderful podcast today.
Yeah. Well, the message that I want people to get is that they can have a better quality of life. They can really live. So many people are not living to their full potential. They're just existing. They're not what I call really, really living. And, and that's what I close my podcast out every week, encouraging people to get out there and live, really live. And we can do it. And there's just, people are not experiencing and enjoying life till its fullest extent, fullest potential, and they can. And I want them to understand that and know that they can do that. And it's not as hard as they think it is. And that's something I talk about in my book, the simple steps, the simple things that you can do to put into your life and incorporate into your life that can help you really, really live.
Well, I love that. And I admittedly have your book. So to our listeners, guys, make sure you check out How to Live Until You Die. And he just gave you some hints. He made it really, really simple. The 7 keys to living happy, healthy, and whole. I think a lot of us try and get too aggressive and we take on too much. And that's why our new lifestyle shifts break or change not the way we want them to, because you took on too much. So let's start simple. All right. Let's go with 7 key things living here, man. Let's get his book, How to Live Until You Die. Go to CarsonNatural.com. He's got it linked right at the bottom of the homepage. Again, I will have this stuff and his Amazon links in the show notes to save you guys some work. But he's got a really cool site, and you guys should go to CarsonNatural.com. So again, Dr. Phil, thanks for joining us today. Hang tight. I want to give you a proper goodbye. To our listeners, that is another powerfully impacting Live the Fuel show. Again, we're here to fuel your health, your business, your lifestyle. So keep living the fired up epic life, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. You are free of the pod.
All right.
I hope you had fun.
Oh man, I love it. That was fun.
I get a little animated. You're very nice and mellow, classic doctoral type of personality. I love it. I like to bring the fire.
Yeah. Well, you did, and I appreciate it.
Well, and I love your book, because I'm actually one of my mentors. I got to get you connected to him too. You ever hear of Vinny Tortorich?
No, I haven't until I went on your website. Oh
man. Well, he's been doing pod for. He's been doing pod for over 5 years.
Yeah.
And he's now a guest co-host, basically to help fulfill the fitness demographic on the Adam Carolla podcast. And that is like the biggest. So
I know. Yeah.
So he's now getting what's called the Carolla bump, because everybody listens to the Carolla show. is now hearing him. So like, oh, I should go, if I want to go health and fitness stuff, I should go check out Vinny's show. So he's getting a crazy download bump. I've had Vinny on my show 2 or 3 times. So I might be getting a little bump eventually off of that. So it's all about that cross-pollination. Exactly. But he loves bringing on experts and doctors because he's a man from Louisiana. So he's from your neck of the woods. He's got the same family frustrations. He talks about how obese the South is. He is the guy who trademarked NSNG, no sugar, no grains. And he's got his own book called Fitness Confidential. And he launched his podcast for that exact reason, to sell his book Fitness Confidential, because he didn't have a viral online following. So it's just cool to see all this type of stuff happening, and healthy, fit entrepreneurs like yourself and him, and I mean myself too, just trying to change the world, one podcast at a time.
There you go.
So I will definitely, because he loves bringing on new doctors. I'm definitely going to send the Vinny thing first, right off the bat, because he's always looking for new blood, and he's usually scheduled out a few weeks. He's got a big following. You'll love him. He's and he's, by the way, he studied at Tulane University. So he's not a fly by night trainer to the stars. Like, the guy's got medical level type classes, because that's what Tulane required to get his he actually was a teacher for physical education, like that whole program that he studied at Tulane. So he knows his stuff. So I know you guys can geek out heavily on that.
Yeah, man. That sounds awesome. I'd love to connect with him.
Oh, yeah. And Dr. Wolfson will be a great guy to your show, and definitely Dr. Jack Cruz. And again, I'll get you Dr. Sylvia Tara, because she's a Secret Life of Fat. And then I'll just have to see if anything else pops in my head, because I love plugging people together. So, so any other links that you think are going to be valuable, definitely shoot me an email back. You'll obviously see my emails come through when I do a little nice intro to you from Scott at livethefuel.com. And then I guess, should I wait until your link gets activated for me to go poke around and look at the testing stuff, or should I just study up on this? Like, what do you recommend for me, man?
Well, the saliva testing that we were talking about for testing the adrenals. That would be great for you, for your fiance. Both of y'all want to do that.
I want to compare them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You can compare and say, "Hey, here's what I'm. Here's what."
Well, we both.
This is why you're not sleeping. This is why you're waking up at 4:00 in the morning and can't go back to sleep.
And we're both athletics. 3 weeks ago, we both competed in a CrossFit competition, and then last weekend, and actually, that was a CrossFit competition. I had a week before that, I did a Spartan super race distance over 10 miles in the mountains of Spartan, and then last week she just did her first Olympic triathlon. So we're both active. It's just, I'm trying to prove to her our lifestyle differences. So I'm thinking this is right up our alley.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So anyway, should I just literally click through your site and then read up on this, or do I order it through them, or do I go through you? How do I do all this? Yeah, you have to order it through a practitioner. You can't order the labs directly from them. Okay.
So if you want the kits are free. They don't cost anything.
Cool.
I send the kits out to people. I mail them to people all across the country that contact me, about this adrenal stuff.
Well, because then we need somebody to read them.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's the process. I'll send you the kit.
Cool.
You follow the directions. You collect the samples. Send it off to the lab. The mailing label, UPS mailing label, everything's in the package. It's a complete kit.
Very similar to that 23andMe style type thing.
Yeah, it'd be similar to that. You collect your samples, send it off. They'll analyze it at the lab. They'll send me the results.
Oh, because I note that in the paperwork, I'm guessing, like who I want it to go to? Or it's because it's your kit? Okay.
It's my kit. It's already labeled with my name and everything on it on the requisition form that's in it. Has all my information on there. You just put your information in, and then you pay the lab directly.
Okay.
You don't pay me. You pay the lab directly. Yeah. They charge $120 for the adrenal test, and it's not just looking at the cortisol output. It checks your DHEA output. You familiar with DHEA?
The fat in the brain.
The hormone. No, not DHA.
DHA. Sorry.
DHEA, which is a precursor to testosterone and to estrogen, primarily.
Ooh, because I've been wondering about my testosterone levels and stuff. I'm turning 40, this year. So I was like, I want to be knowing where I'm at, because every once in a while you see your performance and workouts drop and raise. So I know that's affected by that.
Well, DHEA levels are important there. And then as far as the testosterone itself or all of the sex hormones, that's another thing that diagnose tests do, is they do hormone assessments as well for the sex hormones. They have what they call a male hormone panel. So at some point, if you wanted to do that, you can see what your testosterone, your estrogen, your androstenedione, your DHT, all the components of the breakdown of estrogen, all the metabolites it looks at, as well as your estrogen.
See, that's why I want to start doing this stuff, because whoever I do it through, you or whatever, like then I have an excuse. It creates new content for the show, because I want to teach other people. Like I want them to know that I'm doing this testing too. And I'm not saying everybody has to do it, but then like, I don't care. I'm like, hey, good, go to him and get the same test. But here's mine. And I want to be able to like show that transparency. It's kind of like, I don't know if you follow Tim Ferriss. Yeah. I'm kind of taking a page out of his book. I don't know if he's ever shared all of his testing results, but I want to be that guy. I'm going to put it all out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
But that's available as well. But the other things the adrenal test looks at, it looks at, like I said, the cortisol output, the DHE output. It looks at the one of the metabolites of cortisol, 17-hydroxyprogesterone. Also, it looks at your insulin levels in your saliva. So it can tell you if you possibly are predisposed for insulin resistance, or if you're actually developing insulin resistance. It also looks at your salivary immune globulin A, which is a immune component found in the saliva that indicates if there's any kind of inflammatory issues going on in the gut.
So there is some gut health results coming back from that too. Very nice.
Yeah. That comes back, as well as it tells you if you are what your gluten sensitivity is. If you're sensitive for gluten, and it measures that as well in the saliva. And gives
I'm still back and forth on that, because I grew up on a farm. I'm kind of like, well, is it the gluten, because the gluten was already there, or is it the modern gluten that was created from all the chemicals that we've sprayed and then had to modify these plants? Because I keep telling people, I'm like, I don't think it's gluten. I'm not a scientist, but I truly feel it's the deadly chemicals that are on there that our body's reacting to, because you can't wash all that crap off, and it's got to be in the plant DNA. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. I believe you may be right on that, and it's more of the modified products that are out there, and not the true natural.
Well, which is why I went grain free.
Yeah,
because I mean, there's no nutritional value out of grain anyway, in my experience. Now, some people may disagree, but I'm like, that's where I go. I follow Vinny's page in his book, and I've been leaner and less inflammatory response from my athletics than I've ever been. So, yeah,
I agree. But anyway, once you submit that test and they do the results, they'll send me they'll email me your results. I'll call the doctor at the lab. We'll go over the results. Then I'll set up an appointment and analyze the results, or go through the analysis with you and tell you everything that showed. If there's any recommendations that need to be made for any lifestyle changes or supplements, those recommendations are made at that time.
Cool.
And then we charge for the lab analysis and consult.
Right.
But there's no additional charge other than what the lab charges for the lab. We don't add anything or tack anything onto that.
Okay.
You just pay them directly for their services, and then we charge directly for our consult services.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be fun to actually, number one, order the test, get that thing all done up. I'll email you separately. I'll just call that one like saliva test, and then send my address so you can send the kits or whatever you're saying it is, right?
Yeah.
And then I pay the lab, ship it to them. Then once all that's done, then we set up our analysis session.
Yeah, set up a session to go over it. That's right.
Cool. And then, let me know that if you're game, we can do some kind of like, I don't know if you do that on your show. Do you ever read results on your show?
No, I haven't read results on my show.
Okay.
But that gives me. I'm glad you said that. It's giving me an idea. Read my own results. I couldn't read a patient's results on there.
Even if I said, please, even if I'm on there.
Yeah. Now, if you decided you want to do that and you gave permission to do that, but I couldn't do it without getting a patient's permission.
Well, because that's something else we could do. We could do
about their results. Yeah.
We could do a joint episode.
Yeah.
And because like some of the big guys like John Lee Dumas, other people, they've done it where like I record the whole thing like you and I did, and then we both publish it on our shows.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some of these shows doing that now where, hey, they'll record the same episode and then they both, it gives content to both podcasts because it gives you a new episode and it gives me a new episode. But I'm willing to be that transparent because that just gives you a new page in your book and you can't beat that level of honesty. And it's like, I don't care who knows what my levels and crap are. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. That's a great idea.
Well, cool. See, I love brainstorming. So
yeah.
Well, good. Then I've got a couple emails to send you. Then I'm going to be doing some intro emails, and I'll be sending you my address for the saliva test stuff. And is there anything else I could do for you?
And you've done enough. You're awesome. I really appreciate it. And I want to connect you with my virtual trainer. If you want to, if you want another guest for your show, somebody that give you an interesting aspect on training. I do virtual training. My trainer is in Cincinnati.
Nice.
And we link up by Skype 3 times a week. He has a great story of how he got into training. He was actually going to pharmacy school when his mom had a stroke.
Oh, wow.
And so
he needed to take care of her.
Yeah, and he'd take care of her, kind of changed courses, and ended up becoming a trainer. He works with people that have had strokes. He works with disabled people. He does, and he's working with kids that have cancer. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. And
I love that because that's a true adapting to your passion for entrepreneurship. Like he knows he wanted to start something. He realized I got to be here for my mother and everything else. And so all of a sudden he developed a niche, and that's becoming popular. There's more and more of these trainers building an online presence because then you're no longer, withheld by just physical space. And if people are cool with not having a physical trainer, that's been popular right now. So I'd love to honor you and honor him and give him some exposure as well. So plus I love technology. And
you've mentioned John Lee Dumas a couple of times. I know John Lee.
Oh, I haven't been on his show yet.
Yeah. I haven't yet. It's coming up. I'll be on it hopefully sometime before the year's over.
I think the only reason why I haven't been on is because I literally haven't gone to his website and submitted myself. I've always gotten on other podcast shows just through what I'm going to do for you, which is the networking thing. And I think everybody's already told me, like, if you want on John's show, you got to submit, I guess, an application or something like that. I don't know. I'm guessing that's what you do.
Yeah. He has an application process.
I'll get around to it.
But my trainer is also John Lee's trainer. He works with
well, then, hey, you know what? That's how I'm going to do things. I'm going to help you. Then I'll help your trainer. And then we'll have that word of mouth because John Lee Dumas and I both know Michael O'Neill of the Solopreneur Hour. And Michael was my first episode. And Michael's been to his house in Puerto Rico. They used to hang all the time when they were, because Michael lives in San Diego and John Lee used to be hanging out there. So they're all interconnected that way as well. So we'll all overlap sooner or later.
Yeah. That's where I met John Lee in San Diego.
Okay.
At Social Media World.
Yeah.
I go to Social Media World every year, and I know Pat too. Pat
Flynn.
Pat Flynn. And
him and Michael are besties. Actually, Pat helped inspire Michael to start his show because he just basically called him out one day while they were hanging out. He's like, "Why don't you start a show about that?" And next thing you know, he started the Solopreneur Hour.
Yeah. Pat's done extremely well with his podcast and what he's doing out there. I'll make that connection. I think Jeff would be a great guest for your show. I think you enjoy having him on talking about what he does, and also podcast movement.
Down in Florida.
Podcast movement is coming up in a couple of weeks. There is one in Florida. It's something else.
Oh, that's a different podcast show because I'm speaking at the Mid-Atlantic podcast, which is here outside of Philadelphia in September.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So I do public speaking on the side. That's been slowly increasing. And when you have a show, that helps increase some exposure as well. So
That's right.
But I only went there. It was their first year last year as a new conference for podcasters. And then that was right around when I launched the show. And they've invited me back since I literally launched that the week that they had the event. And now he wants me to come back and talk about that to the audience. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, Podcast Movement's coming up in a couple of weeks in Anaheim.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. In California. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've got so many other events that I've already committed to this year. And I was like, I had to pick one podcast conference. I'm like, I'm going to go back and honor the new guys at MapCon. And then eventually I need to get around to the big ones too. So, but I'm already going to another California event and another Vegas event this year. So I was like, okay, there's only so much travel I can allot in the calendar. So
I hear you.
So you'll be at Movement then?
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Awesome. Are you speaking or just attending?
No, I'm just attending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, good, sir. Well, I'll let you get back to your evening and look for the emails I get. Let me just double check something here. I have. And don't worry, I won't read it out loud because I still have the video recording. I like to show. The video. I like to be more before and after, behind the scenes. Since the podcast is priority, and the video feed just extra meat and potatoes. But I will tell you, if you don't do it yet, do it. I've gained more YouTube followers since doing this on video.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because you're pushing content, and that's what people like to see.
Yeah,
and people like to see some more of that rough behind the scenes type of stuff. So. And I have your original. One second here. Yep. All right. I have your Gmail address. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was looking for. All right, sir.
All right, man.
Well, this has been a blast, and I'll keep you in the loop. I think I might be airing you in as early as in the next week. I got to double check because I had to move some people around because book releases for some and everything else. Plus, I'm coming up on my 100th episode, so I might be going solo for that episode. I haven't decided yet. So,
okay.
Yeah, It's been busy.
Yeah. Well, cool.
All right.
I'll get my assistant to go ahead and get that landing page set up for you then.
Perfect. Yeah. As soon as they're done with that, tell her or he or she to email me that. And then I'll make sure that gets added into the show notes, obviously. So, how long does it take them to turn around that?
If I send her an email tonight, she'll probably have it by tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I don't need it. I'll probably be working on your content this weekend. So that'll work out great.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, sir.
Good. All right.
Well, you have a great evening.
Yeah. You too, Scott. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you.